What's going on, guys? I just wanted to come on here and talk about the whole middleweight title situation. I did make a video earlier today just covering. If y'all did not just hear, that was the worst voice crack ever. Like, I'm gonna have to give y'all some instant fucking replay on that shit. Covering. Jesus Christ. Just got kicked back to puberty. Christ. But I made a video earlier today discussing Dricus du Plessis potentially pulling out of a potentially agreed bout for UFC 317 International Fight Week against Khamzat Chimaev. And as you can see here, our boy Caio Barralho is offering to step in. And I've been hearing and seeing online that it might actually happen for an interim title, which would, to me, makes no sense. To a lot of the MMA community, it makes sense, but I guess, yeah, your champion's injured, but it depends on the type of injury. Like, if Dricus is going to be out for 8 months plus, then sure, make an interim title. You know, keep the division going, keep it flowing. But, you know, Dricus has been reasonably active. You know, defended the title against Israel Adesanya at UFC 305. Then dominated Sean Strickland at UFC 312. Then he'd be coming back for UFC 317. It's a pretty active schedule. So making an interim at this point, at this stage, with a champion who is active, and we don't know the whole scope of the injury. So, and this whole argument, or like this whole Caio wants to step in and face Khamzat Chimaev on short notice, which is like, bravo, major applause to that. But there is one major problem. We have a certified guy that comes before Caio. You know, Caio's on his win streak. You know, he's a fighting nerd. He's popular. You know, he's bringing some attention, you know, in the middleweight division on his run. But then you've got a guy like Nassourdine Imavov, who is essentially the dark horse of his division. You know, he just KO'd Adesanya, which is insane, right? Even though, yes, Adesanya's was on a two fight losing streak at the time, lost to Strickland, lost to Dricus, but with how Adesanya looked in the early rounds of their fight, you know, he was more aggressive. But then Nassourdine Imavov just reads this motherfucker. You know, it's like, oh, I understand it now. You know, fucking Adesanya switches stances and BAM! This motherfucker's dead. He did what Strickland couldn't and just finished the fight, right? And he is 100% more deserving than Caio Barralho, who, you know, I believe his last performance was against Jared Cannonier. And, you know, props for beating Cannonier. Major props for beating Cannonier. Major props for your win streak. But Imavov just beat a former champion, you know, finished him, like, read this motherfucker like a book. And then, like, if the UFC does this, they're skipping over that contender entirely. And that would definitely piss me off if I was Nassourdine Imavov. You know, you put in all this work, you put these wins together, you beat a former champion, former two-time middleweight champion, right? A guy who was, you know, dominant up until, you know, a couple years ago now. Jesus Christ, that's rough to think about. But if the UFC goes for this fight, they're literally putting Nassourdine Imavov in a corner, in the chair in the hotel room, and he's gonna have to watch these guys bang. They're literally cucking the legitimate number one contender. Now, don't get me wrong, Khamzat definitely deserves that title shot, but in my opinion, his two wins at middleweight have been against Kamaru Usman, right? This was short notice Usman, you know. Motherfucker does not have knees for shit. he has a really close fight with Usman, and then he fucks up Robert Whittaker. Very impressive performance, you know. Rob was on a win streak at the time, 2 wins, I believe, Paulo Costa and Ikram Aliskerov. But Khamzat just steamrolls him. But I still don't think that puts him above Nassourdine Imavov in terms of, you know, Imavov's been in the division, he's been floating around, he's been doing, like, having these fights, putting on these wins, putting on these dominant performances. And you guys, just don't give the interim title shot to Caio, man. Like, or if there's an interim, don't make it an interim, in my opinion. In my opinion, you can make this a number 1 contender bout. Because I could see Dricus being back within 6 months, within 4 months. You know, he's just... Dricus is that guy. He's got that plot armor. Doesn't matter what fucking injuries do to this man. He's still gonna come out there, you know, throw his awkward ass shit on awkward angles. And he's gonna get the win, you know? But, yeah. I just think, in terms of legitimacy in the middleweight division, Nassourdine Imavov, Khamzat Chimaev, if you want to have that short notice fight, because you can't just skip over Imavov's achievements in the division, or, you know, his most relevant win to date, which was, you know, knocking out Adesanya. Like, props to Caio for, you know, coming out here and being like, well, you know, I'll fight him. But I'm sorry, man. You're not in that title contention scenario yet. You are not a title contender. You know, title contenders in the middleweight division right now, Nassourdine Imavov and Khamzat Chimaev. If the UFC books this fight, I'm gonna have a really, really, really angry rant. It's gonna make me wild, man. It's gonna make me go buck wild. Gonna end up getting rageful and gonna get violent. But I just don't think you should be cucking the legitimate number 1 contender in the division. Alright, so Dana White, you bald motherfucker, listen here, buddy. The middleweight division needs to stay legitimate, right? You've allowed every other division to have some cocked up, fuck system, fuck title contention. Please let this division stay normal, you know? And if you book this fight, what the fuck is wrong with you if you book this fight? Oh, but the entertainment value, it's for the fans, it's for you guys. No. I don't give a fuck about the rest of the fan base or what the UFC projects as, you know, what the fans want, because Dana already knows what the fans want, you know, because they really wanted John Jones versus the Marauder, Stipe Miocic. You know, the fans really wanted it. It was a fan matchup, guys. It's a really good matchup in the heavyweight division. Like, title legitimacy and title contention legitimacy in this promotion is becoming a very, very sad state of affairs. You've got fucking Afrohead O'Malley getting his immediate rematch, even though Marab's already defended the fucking title. Like, please stop fucking this up. How are you fucking up legitimacy in your own sport? In your own promotion? Nah. That is the type of rant we're going to be having if they make this fight. But it looks like they will. Which is so... It's so frustrating, man. Like, so many times over the past few years you've seen legitimate title contenders passed up, you know? Look at fucking Marab, you know? O'Malley did not need to be fighting Marlon Vera. That rematch did not need to happen. You know what needed to happen? Marab who was on a massive win streak, deserved his title shot. I don't know what Hunter and all those guys in the matchmaking room cook up when they actually make the match. Like, when they match make, they must be sitting around, you know, in their little fucking circle talking about the contenders. They're just pass the bong around, you know. Have a little bit of that. Fucking, who knows, man? Because some of the shit they cook up, it baffles me, man. Well, that's all I've got to say, but stop cucking your contenders, Dana. Please stop cucking your contenders.